Good day, everybody. Brian Terrian here from the Disability Digest. Welcome to the Disability Digest Live um, Frequently Asked Questions event. We are going to get started in about 1 minute. Today, I have some questions about people going through the approval process, what will kill their case, something that went down with the judge, and I also have some tips for you and how to protect your benefits and how to get doctor support to get your benefits. So that's what is on tap for here today. So, yes, thank you for joining, Billy. Welcome, welcome. So I've been trying in advance of this to I've done a bunch of testing, so if you got some false alarms earlier about this event starting, my apologies. Okay, so it's 2:55, so let's get started. So I want to answer a few questions and get on to the main topic. Some questions that came in this week, that was an interesting one, is will going to college kill my case? And this is sent in from Tanya. And so Tanya's going through the disability approval process, and she wants to know what would happen if she went back to school. So when you're going through the disability approval process or you're approved for disability, you are subject to what's called the SGA, Substantial Gainful Activity. And that's mostly determined by how much money you make, but there's also a general activity component to it. So for example, if Social Security determines that you are doing something that is requiring the effort of full-time work, they could possibly say that you are over the SGA. Or if they determine that what you are doing is over the $1,080 a month that you can earn and go through the approval process, which would be more accurate, then they could cause problems with your disability approval. So if you think about going to college and you're taking a full course load and you've actually got to drive there, you need to sit in class, you need to pay attention, you need to take notes, you need to correspond, you need to take tests, that's going to be tough on a case. So if you're taking a few courses, one or two, different deal. If you're taking courses from your home that are on a flex schedule, that's even better. So those are some things to consider as far as killing your case. If you're on disability, then you're subject to the same SGA. The earnings is $880 a month once you're approved for benefits, but the same activity amount. But it is encouraged for people that are on disability to go back and acquire some skills so that they can retool and supplement their income or possibly get back into the workforce. So I wouldn't be discouraged or deterred from pursuing education. That's just my take. I think it's a great idea. Learning is good. Okay, next question in from Rodney. This is just in today, Rodney. So I'm going to squeeze this one in for you. Rodney's been in front of a judge, an ALJ judge, for his hearing. And she ordered a CE exam, a consultative exam. And I have to go, after the exam, have to go back in front of the judge. So this has been my experience with these. The judge looked at your medical records, wasn't quite convinced that there was enough there. This is a possibility. And has sent Rodney out to be examined by a Social Security doctor to verify something in the medical records, whether it's consistent or it exists with what's going on with Rodney. So this is my take. A few things as far as my take is. One, this is very important. It's going to delay the process. Usually after a hearing you have, 4, 5, 6 weeks, you get a decision letter. So whatever this is going to do as far as consuming time, you need to figure out, as far as estimating when you'd be approved, what the delay will be. So here's the key. going to this exam is going to be a critical step for you, and we have some tips. And in the show notes here, I'm going to put the full meal deal and everything that you need to do. But when you go to these exams, you should go with an advocate, and the advocate should either record it or take down the notes. Sometimes they give you a difficult time with that. So if they do, then you just have your advocate that's coming with you. Like advocate, when I say advocate, like a spouse or a friend or other family member, another body in the room. And if they don't allow you to record it, then just pull out a regular notebook, good old-fashioned notebook with the lines on it, and write down the minute and what the doctor did. What you want to do is you want to hold the doctor accountable for doing exactly what the doctor puts in the notes. So if you go there and you have no witness, and the doctor says, I did a thorough evaluation, eyes, ears, nose, throat, whatever it is, and he puts it in the records, but he actually didn't, that could kill your case. So that's one tip. The other one is, and there's 6 tips in this thing, but the other key one is bring in your medical records, because if the doctor has requested your medical records but doesn't have them or hasn't reviewed them in advance, you can bring them in and plunk them on the desk. Say, here's all my medical records, these are my conditions, I'm being sent for an evaluation, check me out. So anyway, Rodney, at the end of the show, like I said, I will put the link back in here. If you're watching this on a YouTube replay, it will be right down below the comments. Follow those. Let us know how it goes. Okay. For the main event today, I want to give a thanks to Phil, who works here. Phil is an advocate that works here at the Disability Digest. He shared some really key information with us last week in a meeting. He went to visit with his doctor, and his doctor asked him what he did for work, and he was explaining that, you know, he works here. Phil's gone through the disability approval process, works here with supplementary income. He's one of the individuals that might be on the phone with you, helping you through a disability approval strategy or some other aspect of our business. So that's Phil's situation. But in the meeting, the doctor asked him, and he got into the conversation about doctor's support, because when we're working with members like you, trying to help you get approved or help you keep your benefits, one of the key things is doctor's support. So in that conversation, Phil learned a bit about the flow of information for a doctor and what happens with a doctor and how that could or could not coincide with our efforts to help you get your benefits approved. So here's what I mean by that. If you're in your doctor's appointment, and I just got some notes here I'm going to pull down on my screen, you get your typical 12-minute visit, if you're lucky, with your doctor. And in that visit, your objective is to communicate your condition and the severity of it, so that the doctor then puts that in your medical records, and Social Security looks at those as you're going through the approval process, or potentially if you're reviewed, and says, ah, I get it. I see why you can't sit, stand, lift, squat, bend, stoop, all that stuff. So here's what Phil uncovered, is that for a doctor, the common workflow is they have a meeting, they gather some notes mentally or jot a few down on paper, and then they go back somewhere, not in the exam room, they go back somewhere at some time, and they enter them into the computer. So that's where there's a breakdown, is they might remember, or maybe their spouse called them and said, listen, you're running late for dinner, you got to leave early, and the notes don't get in. So what Phil shared with us is that this doctor actually has patients that write down their notes, their updates, and they bring them into the doctor. And they just hand them to the doctor, and they go through, you know, what's gone on. Like, you know, an example would be is that last time I saw you, yeah, I was able to walk like 25 steps, and you know, then I'd have to take a break. Now it's like down to 20. I used to be able to lift a gallon of milk, and Now I only can lift like a half gallon of milk. Things like that. So there's a chronological process. So, or they're the same, or maybe some have gotten better. Whatever your situation is, that you write down the key points, you put it on a piece of paper, and that paper is handed to the doctor, and the doctor then puts those notes in the file and then also enters them. So it helps the doctor do their job, remember, and it gets your limitations into your medical records. Absolutely brilliant. I mean, this is really, I mean, it's a game changer, because the ultimate challenge problem is Social Security looks at medical records and they don't see what they need to see to determine that you either qualify for your disability benefits or you can keep your disability benefits. Okay, so I'm going to roll this forward a little bit more, because you might be saying, oh, well, that sounds good. What do I write down? What are some of the things that I write down? So I have a few notes here for you. Events are good things to communicate. For example, a lot of the members that we work with here have autoimmune conditions, which is just horrific pain, like lupus or fibromyalgia or something like that. So in those situations, there's sit-stand challenges. And so what is it like for an individual with those conditions or with chronic back pain to wash a sink full of dishes for two people? Just say two. Dinner for two. Got pots, pans, plates, cups, silverware. Can you do it all at once? Do you have to break it down? Can you do the plates? I do the plates first. I don't know why. I just like to get them out of the way. And if you have to sit down after doing, a phase of those, what is it like? Has it changed? Driving. Has your driving changed? Where you, like if it's changed, do you not drive as much? Do you not drive at night? Do you not drive at all? Things that require memory and like cognitive ability, like paying bills, or like managing things around the house, like repair appointments or things like that. Are you no longer doing those? Has your experience doing those changed? Those are real life events that are put in your medical records. That says, you know what, we've just made an agreement here. I'm no longer going to manage finances and pay the bills. There's been too many challenges with my ability to remember, what to do or when to pay the bills, and we're getting late fees, and it's adding penalties, and my spouse is getting really ticked off. So things like that. What's it like to interact with people? Have you changed your social interactions with people? Are you not going out as much? Or what is that like? Is it not comfortable for you to go out? Because you're not comfortable, one, being around people socially, or being around people physically, or you just don't have the energy to do it. Those are some other things that have changed, that you can note that have changed. The frequency of seeing the doctors. How many times are you going to see the doctors? Has it changed? And if it's changed because of finances, then that's different than what it should be, so might not be the best example. So let me see if I have anything else here. No, the doctors. So I think hopefully that will kind of give you a vibe for one of the things. Oh, there's one other thing. When you're going through the disability approval process, there is a form that you have to fill out called a daily living questionnaire. Activities of daily living. The form on the bottom left says SSA 3373. If you look at some of the questions that you're asked on there about, do you do household chores, do you vacuum, do you grocery shop, you can use that as a template for how things have changed perhaps, because those are the same questions that Social Security asks you, and those are kind of the benchmark activities that they're looking for. All right. So good. So I hope you found this information helpful. Thank you for submitting the questions, and Phil for your contribution. I greatly appreciate it. If you are new and watching this, welcome to the Disability Digest. We're here most Wednesdays. Here at the Disability Digest, we provide a free membership. We're like a radio or TV station where there's sponsors and there's ads mixed in that allow us to finance this effort, put people back to work, provide you content like this. So if you like the work that we're doing and you're a member here, tell others so they join us. Because the more members we have, the more sponsorship dollars, the more money we have, the better events we can put on for you. And if you're not a member, come on in. Let's go to the disabilitydigest.com and join us. If you have questions, like either if you're a member or on your way in as a member, you can contact us at 484848. That's via text, 484848. And if you're watching the replay here and if you like the work that we do, then click the button below, subscribe, give us a like. We appreciate it. So thanks again, everybody, for taking time out of your day. This has been Brian Terry, and it's been my pleasure to spend some time with you today. Make it a great day.